Welcome to another edition of Talking with Friends. We are glad to be back with you today on Friday, November the 20th. I am Friends University Sports Information Director Levi Converse.
And I am his assistant, SID, Morgan Raspberry.
And we are with you just a few days ahead of Thanksgiving, Morgan. We're officially into the holiday season.
We really and truly are. And, speaking of Thanksgiving, are you ready for some turkey?
I think so. But you know what? We may be switching up a little bit this year.
Oh, really?
At least at my mom and dad's house. We may be having roast instead of turkey.
Interesting.
Possibly. I talked to my mom last night. We may be having roast, so I'm kind of excited about that.
So is that now going to be a controversial topic?
It might
roast
be.
Or turkey?
It might be. But that may give us, if you didn't have one, that may give us one, actually. That might be fun. Yeah, that might be fun. But we kind of mix it up on the holidays. Like for Christmas, sometimes we'll have like tacos and burritos, enchiladas.
Interesting.
And stuff instead of your traditional ham.
Our traditional Christmas dinner/lunch that we always do. So we always go over to my great-grandmother's house, my nanny's, and she makes homemade spaghetti.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, is it ever amazing.
That just sounds good.
It's my mom's favorite. It's our favorite. I've helped her almost every single year. Last year I wasn't able to, but for sure the year before we always used to go over and help her make them and like do the meatballs and all that fun stuff. She usually have the sauce already done for us, but she did actually give us her recipe for the sauce and for the meatballs and all that stuff. And noodles, you got the noodles.
Yeah.
That's not hard to do. But the rest of it, yeah. So I'm going to have to make it one day. I'm not sure on when, but I'll eventually make it one day.
It actually sounds interesting. Because you don't think about spaghetti being homemade, really.
No,
you don't
don't
really think of it like that. You think like you've had one spaghetti, you've had all of it. And really, that's not accurate, really.
Yeah, no, it definitely is not like I'm going to pour some ragu in there and have some meat in there. No, it definitely tastes different, but it is absolutely amazing. It's probably my favorite spaghetti of all time. It's just absolutely amazing. But that's always ours. For Christmas, Thanksgiving, we have the traditional turkey, ham, all that stuff, and then enormous amounts of desserts.
I really like, though, the tacos for Christmas. I really like it when we do that. It's because a lot of times we'll have ham, and I'm down with ham. That's good. But I loved, and you can ask anyone in our family, my sister, anyone, we love the tacos and enchiladas and burritos for Christmas.
That's very interesting. I'm going to have to suggest that for this year.
Yep. See how that goes. I think that's really good.
That might be like our Christmas Eve dinner, though. Instead of our Christmas one.
Well, actually, we ate it Christmas Eve, I believe.
Oh, really?
I believe that's when we did, because, it was Christmas Eve night.
Nice.
So, it was so good. Yeah, that becomes a tradition, kind of. That's one I don't want to.
We usually just have a smorgasbord of, a smorgasbord. If you've never heard that term before, now you have. A smorgasbord of just random good stuff, usually for Christmas Eve. It's almost like a buffet at my grandmother's house, and then, the very next day we wake up and she always has pigs in the blankets, and we call them dirty eggs. It's just basically eggs with grease in it.
Yeah. Well, if it's
good,
it's good.
They're so good. And I'm not even an egg fan, guys. I don't really like the texture of eggs, so I'm not a huge egg person. But my grandma's dirty eggs, those are pretty good.
Hey, if it's good, you can call it whatever you want to call it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Deliciousness.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So we're coming up on Thanksgiving. Hope everybody's ready for the holiday season. We kicked off a little bit of discussion last week. We'll get to here in a little bit about when is the right time to decorate for Christmas. We'll share that we asked you all as well. You voted on social media. You gave a pretty strong opinion on it, but we'll get to that here pretty soon. A fun discussion on that. And again, as we put on there, if you don't know why Morgan thinks it's to be November the 1st. You ought to go back and listen to our podcast, but I'm sure she'll explain it to you again here in a little bit. So,
and definitely think about this for the 2020 year, as well. Granted, you can think about it for multiple years, but if you're just doing a general idea for previous years, no, you don't do that. Think about it in the sense of how would you feel about 2020? We're supposed to be in a jolly time, right? We want some merriness to us. We want some jolly times. We want to celebrate Jesus Christ. So we're gonna move to Christmas.
Yeah.
Move it up. We're not speeding up the 2020 year. No, that's not how I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it in the sense of we just want some merry old times. And who isn't merry during Christmas? Like even the Grinch, he was merry after Christmas.
Eventually,
so he was eventually merry,
around to it,
but his heart grew.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah. You're pretty familiar with the Grinch, though. You decorated the Grinch really well.
I did.
And Davis, I
did. So on the 4th floor of Davis, if y'all ever get a chance, from now until probably the end of the semester, go on up there and see our Christmas decorations. It's a whole entire different Whoville experience up there. It's pretty awesome, I think.
It's pretty authentic.
Yeah. Made an actual legit Grinch. It's been great.
Yeah, when you text me the picture, I was impressed with how authentic it looked. It was cool.
What's crazy is that for me to make the Grinch, it took me longer to find the supplies to make the Grinch versus make it. Like, it took me forever to find just something to create the Grinch with. And you want to know where I found all that stuff? Goodwill.
Okay. There's good stuff there.
There is. I'm telling y'all, you can never know what you're going to find out of Goodwill. You never know.
It works. It works. So we're going to get into Christmas decoration talk here in a little bit. We got a lot to cover on that. We'll let everybody know how the majority of people thinks, but I don't think it's going to sway Morgan's opinion either way. But
no, not really.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that here pretty soon. On-campus sports. We're starting to get back in the swing of things. We've had some pauses, some postponements if you've been following our releases. But tomorrow, women's basketball will be at Southwestern Christian University. Tip-off at 2 o'clock in Bethany, Oklahoma. And if you want to know the game day protocols there, just read our release that I put out yesterday. And it kind of shares all that from their website on what's required to come in the game and how to get tickets and all that stuff. So if you're interested in going to that game, all that's in there. Football, same thing. At Bethel College tomorrow, kickoff at 1 o'clock, North Newton, Kansas. That'll be the Falcons' final game of the fall. So at Bethel.
Go out and try and support them if you're able to.
Yeah.
Because I want to say Bethel's protocol is allowing visiting fans, but I don't remember fully. But anyways, just like Mr. Levi said, make sure you read the release and check out their websites as well as to what they're going to allow and not allow, because each school is different. Yeah,
for sure. So that's tomorrow. Women's basketball at Southwestern Christian, 2 o'clock in Bethany. Football at Bethel. Kickoff at 1 o'clock in North Newton, Kansas. We had volleyball on campus on Wednesday night.
We did.
Big win over Oklahoma Wesleyan University. Win. Oklahoma Wesleyan came into this game at 12-3. Overall, Falcons, we pulled it out in 5 sets. It was a really, really good game.
Oh, my goodness. That was an insane game. And, I mean, I know every single person. Like, everybody I'm sure listening knows, but I am a volleyball player. Not currently playing at this moment due to injuries, but I definitely have been on this team for the past 4 years. So I know every single person on this team, and just watching them grow throughout the end of the season, even through all the hard times with postponements and everything, and to pull out that win against Oklahoma Wesleyan, that was absolutely amazing. And I had a couple heart attacks throughout the whole entire game.
It was back and forth. It really was back and forth. 15-11, I believe, was the fifth and final set score.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of tosses and turns. Oklahoma Wesleyan won the first set, 26-24.
Yeah.
And that just kind of set the tone for how close of a match it was going to be. But the Falcons did get the big win Wednesday night over Oklahoma Wesleyan. So good for them. Good for head coach Mark Nye. Abigail Canetta with a career high 47 assists. Really kind of set the tone for the offensive attack. And Tiffany Hurd had the game-winning kill in the 5th set.
Yep.
So 15-11, 3-2 win for the Falcons over Oklahoma Wesleyan. Big win. I just
hope and pray that continues to go on, especially into the spring season, because we've been having a really rough fall season, not just because of postponements or anything, no, but just in general, like even when we are playing, it's been kind of a tough season for us for some strange and odd reason. But I'm glad that we were able to pull it out and end on a good win. Like, it was a really great feeling, especially since Oklahoma Wesleyan, they're a phenomenal team. They were super, super scrappy the whole entire way. They had some amazing kills. They had some amazing digs. It was just an all-around great game by both teams, and it was a great win to end the whole entire season with.
Yeah, it was. It had been a while since they had been out on the court, too.
Mm-hmm.
Safe, they had a scrimmage the week before that. But before that, it had been a while. They didn't really look like they missed a beat. They looked like they were in sync for the most part the whole way. So, especially against a team like Oklahoma Wesleyan, it was a really good win for them.
Yeah.
So, really good. So, we also have some breaking news. Men's golf is back on campus. We announced that earlier this year. We're adding men's golf and men's and women's wrestling to our university sports starting next year. Our men's golf coach has announced today, Dustin Gallion, will be taking over the program, the men's golf program, and will also serve as the director of golf, which is going to be overseeing the day-to-day operations for both the men's and women's golf programs. So he comes from Heston College.
Wow.
And he's got a really, really extensive sports background. He's been a men's basketball coach at Heston. So he'd just taken over the men's golf program as well. He'd been really active, already signed 10 golfers to a national letter of intent. He won 182 career games on the hardwood for basketball, and was actually the 2015 National JUCO District 5 Coach of the Year. So he is a really, really versed. He's also the assistant AD at Heston. And, of course, our athletic director of athletics, Dr. Rob Ramsar, come from Heston College as well. So really, really good find. Dustin Gallion looks like he's going to do a really good job for our men's golf program. It'll be great to have men's golf back. It's the first time it's been on campus since the spring of 2015. So we've not had men's golf since I've been here, obviously, and it's going to be nice to have that back.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the Falcon family for sure.
Yeah.
We're all really close.
Yep. He seems to be excited to come, and I'm looking forward to some men's golf starting next year. So,
Man. Speaking of golf, how is the Masters going? Like, how did that go? I couldn't watch it. I'm sorry. I'm not a golf person. I couldn't bring myself to watch it.
Well, I'll tell you.
I'm sorry.
Really, you only need to know one name. That was Dustin Johnson.
Really?
Dustin Johnson shot, I believe, 20 under par.
Wow.
And he ran away with the tournament. He was solid. He was actually my pick to win it going in. And I know, and with golf, it's really kind of a lucky pick. In fact, even when Tiger Woods was at his heyday, and he still plays, but even when he was in his prime, dominant the sport, really, if you had a chance to pick Tiger Woods or the field, you were probably going to take the field, just because golf is such a has such a randomness to it as far as who wins the tournament. And so you'd probably, even when Tiger Woods is at his all-time best, you're probably going to take the field. But Dustin Johnson's really, really good. He has a good pedigree of major success. So I thought he had a great shot coming in to win it, and wow, but he just ran away and basically lapped the field in it. So
that's insane.
Yeah. Dustin Johnson wins the Masters on that.
Well, congrats to him.
Yep. He was phenomenal. Phenomenal for the tournament.
And is that it for golf for this year until 2021?
For the most part.
For the first part.
Yeah. There may be some tournaments out there but as far as the major tournaments, I believe that's going to be it for 20. And it's weird because it had to be rescheduled from April to November.
That's why I was like, I guess I was a little bit more thrown off by anything else, because I was like, wait, hang on, we have the Masters going on right now? Because, I mean, and like I said, I don't know very much about golf. I've never been a golfer, always played softball, so wasn't allowed to play golf. But I just remember, I was like, I could have sworn that was more of a spring sport, never a fall sport, so I got really confused when I figured out we were having the Masters last weekend.
It's always in April. Yeah, it's always in April. Now it's had to be postponed to November, but they got it in. So, and another note on our on-campus sports, Tuesday night, the women's basketball Falcons will be in action again at home against Oklahoma Wesleyan, tip-off at 6 p.m. The JV women's Falcons will play at 3:30 against Oklahoma Wesleyan. So we do have one more home event coming up before we break away for the Thanksgiving holiday. So
good luck to all the teams this weekend and going into next week as well. Continue to pray for them. And
no doubt.
Yeah, not even just like for victories, and for humbleness, but just for injury prone too, and just making sure everybody stays healthy, because right now we all need to pray for health at this moment in time.
Yeah.
Especially if we want to keep everything going and still alive at this moment.
Yeah, there is no doubt about that. That's just continue to pray, and be diligent in how we approach things. I know Thanksgiving's coming up, and people's going to be seeing family, but we want to make sure we're careful and follow all the protocols, all the guidelines that we have in front of us, and we'll just kind of keep getting through this together. That's all we can do, and that's what we've been doing, and thankful for everything that we've been able to do so far, and we just pray we can continue to stay on the right path.
Yep.
So, all right, you want to get into some Christmas talk now? No.
Let's get into some
ready
Christmas
for that?
talk!
You ready for that?
I'm excited!
You've been raring to go for that.
I've been so ready to talk about Christmas.
Let's do that. All right, so first, Christmas decorations. Okay. 83% of our listeners think you should wait till after Thanksgiving to decorate.
And I respect
But 17% doesn't. So I told you before we went on the air, I really do believe that you reached a few people. Because I think if we put that poll out before you gave the reason why you think it should be on November the 1st, I think it would have been closer to 90-10, 95-5 maybe.
Yeah.
83-17. I think you won over a few people.
I think I did too. Or they just completely think that way in general, and especially going into this year right now. And like I said earlier, like some people are just kind of wanting some joy in life and some merriness and all that stuff that comes along with the Christmas feel, the Christmas season. Not that Thanksgiving doesn't have that, because it really does, but I'm just saying like, it hits differently.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And so that's why I think another reason why a lot of people are agreeing, especially for this year, that we can probably celebrate Christmas before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But
I agree. You halfway won me over. I'm still kind of it's still hard for me to fully get turned on to Christmas until after Thanksgiving. I think it always will be. In fact, I've gotten better than what I used to be. When I was in high school, I wouldn't really get into the Christmas spirit until after school was out for Christmas break.
Yeah.
Like, I did not want to have to go. It was hard for me to get into Christmas until after school. I was done with school.
Yeah.
Because as long as I was going to school, it was hard for me to really get into the full Christmas spirit. I don't know.
I would say this year is probably the first year that I've, like, hardcore really gotten into, like, the Christmas spirit before Thanksgiving. Last year, I mean, I did a little bit before, but it was just because, I mean, it helped me also, or not really helped me, but, like, what kind of motivated me to get into the Christmas feel, especially last year and this year, was because on the 4th floor at Davis, we've already been setting up for Christmas and getting all the decorations out. And it's literally only because obviously after Thanksgiving we have little to zero time to really have our decorations up. So we always did it before like Thanksgiving and all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there's nothing bad about it either, you know, like there's nothing bad about it, but there's nothing really that amazing about it either. But that definitely had an impact on me last year because, I mean, to get me into the Christmas mood, I really do like to listen to Christmas carols. Like, I like to listen to my country Christmas radio on Pandora all the time. Like, I'm, like, blaring country Christmas music. And if y'all have not heard George Strait's Christmas Cookies,
I love that song.
It's amazing. It's
he does
the best
so well.
Christmas song
he
ever.
does that song so well. He puts you in the mood for
he
Christmas
does.
cookies. Especially at the end where you start talking about the sprinkles on top.
Yes, get those little sprinkly things.
And they make it impossible to resist.
I know.
And the way he talks and the way he does, it just really gets you in the right
It
mode.
does.
I like
and
that song. Yep.
I will say that song played probably my first day that I started playing the Christmas music, and I'm sorry, but every time I hear that song, it's also my mom's favorite song, like all-time favorite Christmas song. I think almost everybody I know loves that song. It's just a fun song, but if you really badly want to get into the Christmas mood right now, hardcore would recommend listening to that song because it just makes you jam and it just makes you feel, yes, Christmas cookies, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, it makes me want Christmas cookies.
It does. So it makes you get more into the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
And for me, that's always a good thing, but I think that has definitely had a huge impact. And then, like our podcast last week, if you didn't know, go back and listen to it because you will figure it out. It's closer towards the end, so if you just want to skip ahead, that's fine. We don't really care. But if you really want to listen to the reason as to why, just go back and listen to the podcast because it was a lot of fun. We had a great discussion about that.
It was. I thought it was a good reason, though. I think it halfway turned me around.
Yeah. It just gives you a different perspective. It gives you a different light to it. It's just like, okay, that makes sense. You know, like, okay. like, that's kind of another reason why I've been more in the Christmas mood, and it's all over social media right now. So, I mean, It's just, I think we're not ready. I think a lot of people are ready for 2020 to be over, and I'm not saying that I'm ready for it to necessarily be over, and I'm not ready to push it, because like in our podcast last week, I don't want to complain, because there's so many positives that came out of 2020 for at least me, and I know for you.
Yeah.
So there's been also a lot of negatives.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of negatives. But there are definitely a lot of positives that are just turning everything around. And so just continue to focus on the positives. But if you do want some cheer and you want some merriness in your life, I don't blame you if you do want to set up for Christmas already. So that's another reason why I'm in the mood for it. I'm even wearing a Christmas shirt right now with Christmas fuzzy socks. So I'm all about it right now.
Yep, you're in the Christmas mood for sure.
Now I need to decorate your office.
Yeah, you know what? If you want to, feel free to do it.
Yes.
Feel free to do it.
You all heard this. Y'all are my witnesses right now. I am allowed to decorate his office for Christmas. Let's go.
When we get back from Thanksgiving, come in and decorate it.
Oh, I'm so down. You know I will do this.
Yep. When we get back from Thanksgiving, come back in and do it.
Yes. I'm down.
Let's do it. We'll make it festive.
You're making this as a national announcement.
I'm going on record. I'm going on record. I know.
Going on the record.
We're live. I'm going on record. Saying I'm giving you permission to do this, and we'll post a picture of it when we're done. So we'll see what everybody thinks. So.
Yes. Down. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, randomness. You got a random question for us?
Okay, so I had to look up some random topics just because. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different things that we could talk about. But I was trying to figure out some for Thanksgiving, because we already had our Christmas Thanksgiving one. So now I do want to respect Thanksgiving in the sense of, okay, what's a controversial topic with Thanksgiving that's not anything to do with Christmas versus Thanksgiving, right? So
we've already pitted that against each other last week.
Yeah.
And that was fun, so yeah.
So all I'm seeing, what? Okay, so all I'm really and truly hardcore seeing are, like, trivia questions, and I'm like, I don't want trivia questions, what? But there's one that says that what is the main conflict in Thanksgiving? There's conflicts in Thanksgiving? I didn't even think there were any conflicts.
Well, we come across one last week.
Well, that's different. What? All right, here we go. Okay, so instead of it being a controversial topic this week, I'm just going to ask a couple questions. Is that okay?
That works for me.
Okay, I'll answer them too. What is your favorite Thanksgiving memory?
Oh, favorite Thanksgiving memory. It has to involve, and I know this is, I mean, the easy answer would say, the easy answer is to say time with family and stuff. And I'll tell you, that is number one. But for me, Thanksgiving memories is always probably about football, because that's just something we always do. Yeah, that's something we always do. It's a tradition, watching Thanksgiving football. So, and it still is. I mean, it's not like it's past or anything. It still is. So I would say the best memory is watching the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. That happens.
Gosh.
That's a tradition. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. How about you?
Mine is definitely okay. So I believe I was a freshman in high school, maybe 8th grade. I don't remember. It was 8th grade, freshman in high school. And we were over at my grandma's house getting ready for Thanksgiving and starting to cook. And so at this moment in time, I am 6 foot, okay? When I was a freshman in high school, I was like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10". So I haven't grown very much from freshman in high school to senior in college. But, yeah. But I was actually fairly tall for my age. And my grandmother and my great-grandma. So, my great-grandma is the shortest out of all of us. Like, she's actually probably considered, like, a legal midget. Like, she could probably qualify for that. She is, like, I want to say she's, like, 4'9", 5 foot.
Wow.
Yeah, like, she's small. And then my other grandma, and then my actual grandma, she's taller than my nanny, but she's still like she's obviously still way shorter than me. She's like 5'2" maybe. So I come from a fairly short family on my mom's side, but I will never forget, because my mom actually has a picture of this too. My great grandma was to my left, and my grandma was to my right, and I was in between them. Just imagine this picture. Like, we looked like a triangle or a pyramid type of thing.
That picture. Yeah, too bad you don't probably have it yet.
It is my favorite memory because they were just so small compared to me, and I'm the youngest one there, and it was just so funny to look at. My mom just started dying laughing, and we had no idea what was going on at first, and then she showed me the picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. That's hilarious. It's actually a lot funnier than just telling it. If you saw the picture, it makes sense, and it's actually really funny. But, yeah, just randomly, just sitting at the sink, doing the potato peeling and getting ready, all that stuff, and Mom takes a picture of us, and it's literally like, it's not even like AT&T bars, no, it's literally like a spike and a chart and then down again.
I'd like to see that picture.
Oh man, I'll show you it one day. I don't know.
You still have it?
I believe I do still have it. I just don't remember where it's at.
You looking on your phone to see if you have it on your phone?
I'm gonna look on Facebook really quick because I believe my mom posted it a long time ago, but I don't really remember.
That's good. That's funny.
We have way too much fun in my house.
Yeah, I hear that. Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Okay, so what do you like to do as a tradition outside of football and being with family? What is like another family tradition y'all really have for Thanksgiving?
I mean, that's really it, though.
That's really
family, food, and football.
Okay, then here we go.
We do that every year. No.
I'm sorry, guys, but I'm gonna go back to Christmas. What is y'all's Christmas Eve family tradition?
Okay. My wife loves to watch The Grinch, so we have to watch The Grinch usually.
Yes.
We do that. That is a tradition. We leave milk and cookies for Santa. The kids still do that. That's a tradition. And then really, I mean, Christmas morning, we don't really open our presents on Christmas Eve because we like to save it for Christmas morning.
Yeah.
So that's probably the only two traditions that we have, I would say, on it. And those we stick to those, but that's about it.
Nice. So, our family's Christmas Eve tradition. So first, like I said earlier, we have like a buffet of food, a smorgasbord of just random food, right? We're not allowed to touch any of our presents until the very next day. Like, that's just my grandma's thing. And we always spend Christmas Eve at my grandmother's, and then, because we have like Christmas Eve, and then we do Christmas Day with like my immediate family, like my mom and dad and brother and sister. On Christmas Eve, that's like our Christmas Day with them, and then we go Christmas Eve to my grandmother's, and we spend the night there. Okay. And y'all, I'm telling you, so our Christmas Eve movie that we watch every single year is none other than Nacho Libre.
Oh yeah, that's a good
No
movie.
lie.
That is a funny movie.
No lie, Nacho Libre. Like, my grandmother even has, like, she made us 2 years ago Nacho Libre shirts. All matching shirts. And every single year we watch Nacho Libre. So we get in the living room and we all snuggle up and blah, 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 and have a good time. And then we make some hot chocolate and then we just watch Nacho Libre.
I'll tell you, if there
It's
is
great.
such a thing as a true Jack Black movie, Nacho Libre
I know!
is the truest Jack Black movie there is. And he's been in some other good ones too, but
Yeah.
that is a true Jack Black movie. It's so funny.
It's our favorite movie of all time, and my uncle quotes the whole entire movie. He can seriously quote the whole entire movie. And then our favorite thing to do whenever it is actually Easter is it's the quote that's like, I've had diarrhea since Easter's. It's so funny, and we just love it. And then every time that we eat corn, it's like, get the corn out of my face.
Yeah.
We have so much fun with it. And my brother actually found the white boots one day. He wanted to get them so bad, but we refused to let him get them. Thank God we did that.
I may have to watch it again. No, it's been a while since I've actually watched it, but it's a funny movie.
It's so
hilarious.
funny. It's definitely one of our favorites, and it's just always a fun time to watch because you just laugh the whole entire time. I don't know, but we just laugh the whole entire time and just have a great time with it. But yeah. Dang it, I can't find this picture. I'm getting upset.
We'll keep looking for it. I'd like to see it.
I'm going to keep
Even if it's
looking.
after we go off the air, I'm okay with it. I just kind of like to see it. So
I will keep looking, don't worry. I don't disappoint often.
Nope, not often. You're right. Very little, actually.
Very little.
Are you done with randomness?
Yeah, I think that's how random we're gonna get today.
Is that all the randomness we're gonna have for this show? No.
Just for today, you know.
We'll have more. No.
Here it is.
Oh, you found it.
I found it. That's it. Isn't it awesome?
It is. It is. I'm actually looking at it right now. Yeah, that is funny. Yeah,
it's great.
That's good though. No.
It's great. It's my favorite. Oh, it's so perfect.
And since your backs are to it, it's like you're so unassuming. It's like it's so not staged either. It's just like you got like you're in the middle and in the right side of you.
I mean, like we tried to move, but my mom was like, "No, go back," and we're like, "Okay." Like we had no idea what was going on, right? We're just kind of chilling, and then all of a sudden she's like, "No, go back," and we're like, "Okay." So that was it.
That's good.
That's my favorite memory.
That's good. Well, that's a good one.
I know, right?
That's a good one. I'll think of some other memories. I might be able to think of another memory at some point. Maybe if not today, then we'll do it on our next one, maybe.
Share with us your memories on #TalkingWithFriends. Let us know what either your memories are for Thanksgiving or what your traditions are for Thanksgiving or for even Christmas Eve or Christmas. Let us know because we want to know. And then also, please give me random topics to talk about or controversial topics to talk about because it's just always fun. You know, and
you'll go there. Yeah,
I will go there.
Go there. Yeah.
Trust me, I will do the research on each and every topic that y'all give me. I will do it. Don't think I won't, because I will.
Yeah.
We have way too much fun with this. But anyways, just remember, use our #TalkingWithFriends anytime you want to interact with us on anything, and we'll continue to send out polls and all kinds of stuff for you guys to interact with us as well.
Yeah, and we're talking about having a special Thanksgiving podcast next week. We don't have a set time yet, but we're kind of discussing it before we come on today. So we'll post that whenever we get to it. That'll be fun. If we do something like that, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, we have fun every week, but that'll even be probably more of the fun variety. So if it's possible.
Yeah. Hopefully that's possible.
Yeah, we'll find out if it's possible. We'll stretch it. We'll stretch it and see if it is.
We're going to stretch a little bit.
We'll stretch it. We'll go with it. All right, you want to do some NFL picks now?
Let's do it.
All right.
Oh, man, I don't have a pen. Dang it.
I think I'll have a pen.
I can do it on my phone, probably.
I do.
Oh, you do?
I do, actually.
Oh, what's up?
Actually, I do.
See, this is Mr. Levi always being prepared.
Yep.
This is me not being prepared.
Well,
this is why we work well together.
It is. Normally you have a pen, and normally you have your stuff, and I normally wouldn't, but the times that you need it, I have it. So that's I actually come through when I needed to.
All right, so I don't remember our picks from last week, so this will be great. We'll just go over them.
Yeah,
I don't remember our picks.
We'll make some picks for this week.
Or did I write those down somewhere and I just forgot?
Yeah, we'll make some picks for this week.
No, I didn't actually. Or maybe I did, and I just don't know where I put
If
it.
we come on next week, we'll make sure we look it up maybe and see if we can.
We'll for sure get them to you guys eventually.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it.
Oh no! It did something weird. But here we go.
Last night, the Arizona Cardinals lost 28-21 at Seattle.
Really?
It was a good football game. Again, it was pretty tense in our house, but so Cardinals lost 28-21. I was playing for the Cardinals, but they'd been playing really well. They just beat Buffalo the week before on a Hail Mary, which is an amazing play by Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins. If you haven't watched that play was incredible. We watched it live as it happened. It was just really, really good play. But Seattle won 28-21. They take over first place in the NFC West by a game over the Cardinals. And in our game of the week that we'll talk about in a little bit, the Rams play at Tampa Bay. The Rams are 6-3. A win by the Rams would actually move them into a tie for first place with Seattle in the NFC West. The Cardinals are a game back now at 6-4. So NFC West, a lot to be decided there. We'll kick off with a game that I know which one I'm going to pick. Philadelphia at Cleveland. I don't pick the Eagles when they're playing well. I sure don't pick them when they're not playing well. And they're not playing well. That's an understatement. They still lead the NFC East though somehow, just because that speaks how bad the division is.
And also they weren't doing too bad at the beginning of the year. They've had some. They've definitely been like very wishy-washy.
Yeah, they lost last week to the Giants, and that's
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. At Cleveland, the Browns 6-3. They're looking for a playoff berth for the first time since I want to say 2002.
Yeah. Joe Burrow's really getting it done for them.
Actually, Cleveland. No, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati.
Dang it.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's in Cleveland.
I always get them two mixed up for some strange and odd reason.
Yep, Joe Burrow is
I think
actually.
the colors are too similar.
He is with the Ohio rivals in the division, Cincinnati.
But he's still getting stuff done.
Burrow's playing well though as a rookie. Yeah, he's playing really well as a rookie.
But he was Baker Mayfield at LSU. Come
leading the Browns. Yeah, he is historic at LSU. Baker Mayfield leading the Browns 6-3. I got the Browns.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go with the Browns too. I mean, like you said, like the Eagles are they're just not playing good right now, and yeah, just not worth it.
Yeah,
only if they're playing against the Cowboys right now. I'm just
kidding.
Yeah,
that's about what they needed. And the Cowboys almost beat them with a third-string quarterback. I'll tell you that. I'll say that right now. Ben DiNucci almost went into Philly and won.
He did. It was a very close game, but
I'll say this: if they had Andy Dalton, even much less Dak, if they had Andy Dalton, I think the Cowboys win that game. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I do.
Yeah, because Andy Dalton was doing good. It's just.
Yep. And he is back this week, by the way. So
he is? He finally got out of concussion protocol?
Yep, he is
good.
Back.
That's good.
We'll see if it matters, but it will matter some. It will help some. It will help some. All right, Atlanta at New Orleans. Atlanta always gives the Saints a really good game. Last year, they actually played on Thanksgiving. And they wound up winning in New Orleans on Thanksgiving. So, this year, they played a week before Thanksgiving at New Orleans. Atlanta's playing well. They're still just 3-6, though. I'm going to go I'll tell you what, though. Without Drew Brees, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Taysom Hill is actually starting for New Orleans. Instead of, a lot of people thought it was going to be Jameis Winston, it is Taysom Hill, who is kind of their gadget back. They even use him as a tight end sometimes to run their wildcat offense. But the Falcons, I'm still going to go with the Saints. They're a 3.5-point favorite. The Saints at home, I'm going to say they get it done. No.
I don't know. I think I'm going to go with Atlanta. I think I'm going to go with the Falcons just for right now because, I'm going to pick them for our pick'ems. But, I think that's going to be a good game and a lot closer than what we're thinking it's going to be. Still, that's actually fairly close in projections. But, I don't know. I feel like Atlanta can still do it. They can still get stuff done. And like you said, I think it's going to be very interesting with Drew Brees not being there.
Yeah, without Drew Brees, it's going to be way different.
Yeah, so, I think that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
Atlanta won last year on the road. So
when they need to, they'll get it done.
When they won last year on the road, surprised everybody. Thanksgiving night, I remember watching it. I believe it was 31-17. Atlanta won.
Oh.
So Taysom Hill, I'm actually surprised the Saints are favored this game. I know Alvin Kamara is having a great MVP caliber season. They still have Michael Thomas. They still have a lot of weapons. But Taysom Hill, it's going to be interesting to see him run the show from start to finish instead of just coming in for a few plays here and there. And I'm surprised Jameis Winston's not starting, but
and you never know, they might just be having a different plan, because isn't Atlanta's defense like fairly well, or no?
They're off and on.
Oh yeah.
The game
maybe
I
that's
watched
what
them
they're
play,
thinking
they played the Cowboys second game of the year. Cowboys put up 40 on them, but the Falcons put up 39. So it was a really, really close game. The onside kick decided the game.
Yeah.
But Atlantis, they're playing better. They have a habit. Last year they did the same thing. They started out really poor, finished strong. Say their head coach's job going into this year. Dan Quinn, they actually fired him earlier this year. So they have Raheem Morris now taking over as interim on the interim basis. But they're playing well again. Second half of the year, they're starting to click in a little bit. Gosh, I'm almost talking myself into picking Atlanta with you. The more I talk about it, I better just stop talking because the Saints is my gut pick. But I'm interested to see how the Saints offense moves without Drew Brees. I'm going to be interested to see. I'm almost talking myself into picking the Saints or the Falcons, but I'll stick with the Saints at home. Cincinnati at Washington. Now you got Joe Burrow coming here.
Joe Burrow!
Now you got Joe Burrow.
I'll just never forget the whole Twitter video right after he just won the college championship, and he was walking down the thing and he had a cigar in his mouth and he was just looked like a bad booty Judy person, and I was like, oh, Joe Burrow.
That become a meme. You see that constantly now.
But
on social media.
It's so nice.
It's
just okay.
Yeah. That's Joe Burrow.
I was like, I might have a boyfriend, but Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So Cincinnati at Washington. I'm going to go with Joe Burrow over Washington. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. Yeah. Washington is they're hit and miss right now too.
That's true.
They're 2-7. Bengals 2-6-1. Cincinnati's had some close calls. At Pittsburgh was not one of them. Pittsburgh took them to the woodshed.
Yeah.
But I think Cincinnati's going to get it done. And that has nothing to do with Washington being an NFC's rival to the Cowboys. Nothing to do with that. No.
I think it's going to be a very close call either way, because both teams are kind of hit and miss, but I would agree with you. I think I'm going to go with Cincinnati too, only because they are – I don't say they have necessarily a better record, but they're less off and on than Washington.
Yeah, they've been competitive in a lot of games against superior teams, and they're not ready to win big yet. But I think Cincinnati wins against Washington. Washington's just kind of they're a little bit in flux, and you really can't pick against Joe Burrow after you built him up like that.
I know, it's Joe Burrow.
I'm not a big Joe Burrow fan.
Really?
Because LSU to win the national championship last year, they went through Oklahoma in the Final Four.
That's true.
So and then they beat Clemson in the national championship game, but. They went through Oklahoma in the Final Four of the playoff.
Yeah.
Good season for Oklahoma, but they went through the Sooners.
I just found it really funny.
I had my fill of Joe Burrow for one night after that.
Not gonna lie, really quick before we do move on though, I found it absolutely hilarious how on Twitter and apparently other social media places there was a picture of what states were rooting for what college. For some strange and odd reason, people put. For Texas, it was either Oklahoma or it was Ohio.
Yeah. And
we were looking at it oh, heck no. Yeah. If it's not a Texas team, we go to LSU.
Yeah.
That's a given usually. We always, if you're not a Texas...
The thing is, though, it depends on what part of Texas you're from.
That's true.
Because half of Texas, Dallas is a lot of OU fans in Dallas.
That's true.
Because that's why they have the Red River Shootout in Dallas. Is because it's exactly halfway from Norman, Oklahoma to Austin, Texas.
That's very true.
So there's a lot of Oklahoma. In fact, Oklahoma's major recruits come from Texas. Now, Baker Mayfield was not an Oklahoma recruit. He went to Texas Tech first, but he was one of the best players in Texas high school history, as was Kyler Murray, who went to A&M, then Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So they are... Oklahoma has a huge recruiting ground in Texas.
But that's just the northern part of Texas. You go a little bit further south, and especially towards the east. And
you have it all split up. You have Texas A&M as well. And A&M and Texas Longhorn fans hate each other. So
it's either you're one or the other, or you're just an outcast with something else. It's literally, it's so funny.
I actually think there's more disdain. Now, Texas have a big rivalry, but they're in conference rivals. I actually think, judging for what some people talk about on social media, I think there's more disdain and animosity between Texas and Texas A&M because not only are they rivals, but with A&M departing the Big 12 and going to the SEC, now it's like, okay, you're not one of us anymore. At least OU and Texas kind of have that conference bond where they have to root for each other a little bit just to make the conference look good. Now that A&M is in the SEC, I think Texas
it's like out for blood.
Yeah.
And everybody in my hometown, like, I used to be kind of like an outcast because I always wanted to go to University of Texas, mainly for law school, not for any other really particular reason, but I was very much a UT fan. And I love their volleyball program, whole 9 yards, all about that too. But overall, I was very much into UT, and I was very much an outcast in my hometown because my hometown is like 45 minutes from College Station. And I'm telling y'all, you ever go to College Station, if you've never been to College Station and you ever go, that's A&M territory, like whole 9 yards. Like the whole city of College Station is A&M. Like that's their
it is.
That's their whole university is the whole entire city. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
It is. And
I mean, I love it just because
crazy.
like it's actually a really fun environment to be around, but at the same time, if you're not an A&M fan, then you probably wouldn't like it too much. But I mean, I'm kind of both ways ish. I mean, I wouldn't want to ever go to A&M. The only reason why is because that's mainly agricultural engineering, and I'm like, nah, But overall, and it's a fun city to go to, but if y'all seriously ever go, that is A&M University. Whole city is the university. You just can't get away from it, and it's fun, but sometimes it's a little annoying.
It is. That reminds me of a really funny story, though. That's exactly like that. One of our friends from church, he used to go to church with it, me and my dad knew really well. He was down on business in College Station, and he wore a Texas hat, and he couldn't figure out why everybody was razzing him and why everybody wasn't being real friendly. And he said, "Well, I figured, because he didn't know a lot about the rivalry, he just put on a take thought. Well, at least it's from Texas, so I'm in Texas, so I'll wear a Texas hat." And we said, "No, that's not that doesn't work in College State out. That's not what you want to wear."
And what's even crazier is you want to know something too. If you ever wear a Longhorn shirt or an A&M shirt, either one does not matter.
Yeah.
You will always find either a UT person or an A&M person, and they will either whoop at you or be like gig 'em at you if you're an A&M person, or they'll be like, heck yeah, if you're a Longhorn person.
Yeah.
Like hook 'em right here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
It's
I couldn't tell you how
rivalry.
many times. My sister once at Disney World wore an A&M shirt. She's not a huge A&M fan, but I mean, like, she went to A&M Corpus Christi, but she's definitely like, no, it's a completely different thing. Don't even get her started on it. It's crazy. But, so one time she actually wore one at Disney World, we got stopped by at least 15 people. Because they were like, whoop, or they said gig 'em, or they said something, and we're like, okay. Because we're not really, like, we don't care. None of my family, we're University of Michigan fans before we're anything else. MU, go blue, let's go.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's my school to cheer for is always Michigan.
I've known that.
Yep.
You've communicated that to me. And I used to like Michigan. When I was a kid, I used to really like Michigan. I still
Big
do.
outs.
Yeah, I still do. I kind of like Michigan. All right, next on our docket.
Going back to actual NFL.
We said we were done with randomness. We're never done with randomness.
We're never done with the randomness.
We are never done with random. There's always random stuff that pops up. Why did we say that?
Because that's even more random than the other randomness that we talk about.
There's no way. We're never done with that.
Our normal random is nowhere near as our, like, random. So I think that's why we're like, okay, over randomness, let's go something else.
So we're not done with randomness. We said we're done with randomness. We're really not done with randomness yet. We'll have something else pop up that's random.
That's probably.
We're never truly done with that. We said we was.
True.
So talk about false advertisement. My goodness.
I'm sorry, man.
We are never done with randomness. It will always pop up.
We just have way too much fun.
Yep, we do. All right, Detroit at Carolina. Carolina without Christian McCaffrey.
Ooh.
Again, they nearly pulled a big upset at Kansas City 2 weeks ago with Christian McCaffrey back. He had a huge game. He gets hurt again in that game. And this is last week's game against Tampa Bay. if I remember, I actually picked Carolina to pull the upset. That's one of our picks from last week that I remember doing.
I think.
Not only did that not happen, Tampa Bay took them to the shed.
Really?
46-23.
I was like, I'm pretty
Carolina
positive
looked really bad. Without McCaffrey, they just kind of struggled to move the ball a little bit, even though Mike Davis has done a very admirable job filling in the backfield. I have him on my fantasy team, so it's I hope he does well. But Detroit's playing better lately. They won last week over Washington, although it was in overtime. They blew a 24-3 lead to get to that point. But I'm going Lions. They just seem to be the more healthy team over Carolina.
I don't know. I think I'm going to pull the upset and do Carolina. Just because I think that this is still going to be a close game.
Well, every game Detroit plays is close. So, yeah.
That's true right now. At this point in time, I don't think there's going to be a huge blowout anytime.
Yeah, they lost. They beat Atlanta on a last-second touchdown. They won last week in overtime over Washington after blowing a 24-3 lead. So Detroit plays close. But, hey, we're getting close to Thanksgiving. We grew up thinking it's a sin to pick against the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Really?
Even though we're not Lions fans, but it's a tradition for the Lions to play on Thanksgiving. So we always kind of pick the Lions to win there.
Interesting. So,
although you may not pick them this next week, depending on who they play.
Depending on who they play.
Well, they play Houston, so you may not be for them that day. But
is it at Houston?
No, it's always at Detroit on Thanksgiving.
At Detroit?
Yeah. We got that. We may talk about that if we do one next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one next week then.
We got some time to think about it. I want to prepare. You got Houston, the Lions on Thanksgiving Day this week.
I'll think about that one.
All right, so you're going Carolina. I'm going Detroit.
Yep.
I think we're going to be the same on this next pick. At least I hope so. If we're not, then it's
So we can no longer
I'm going to be
friends?
shocked. No, not that. But Pittsburgh at Jacksonville. Pittsburgh comes in undefeated.
Jacksonville, let's go!
Jacksonville is 1-8. If you pick Jacksonville, I almost dare you to pick them.
You know what? And watch them actually win.
Yeah,
watch them be the team that actually beats Pittsburgh.
I'll give you one case to pick Jacksonville. If you take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Okay.
Pittsburgh is undefeated. No. They are playing a big Thanksgiving night game in prime time at home against Baltimore. Could this be a trap game? Could they be looking ahead the next week on Thanksgiving? It's going to be a short week coming up. Could they be looking ahead? I don't think so. I'm picking Pittsburgh. I'm just giving you enough ammunition to where if you want to make that pick, go right ahead. That's your take it or leave it. That's your reasoning.
I almost want to just for fun, not really because I actually have full faith in Jacksonville.
Hey, that's your reasoning right there. It could be a trap game. Looking ahead to Baltimore.
Because I was actually hardcore thinking about that. I was like, maybe this is a trap game, but I don't really know. I don't know, man. That's. I'm just gonna go with Pittsburgh. I don't know.
All right, I come that close to getting you on it. All right.
I don't know if you ever really and truly did, but
I don't know. No.
I think it'd be funny. Not only is it just funny to me because I literally have just finished The Good Place. If you've never seen The Good Place, you need to watch The Good Place. It's actually a really good show. But one of the main characters, he's a huge fan. He's from Jacksonville, Florida, and he's a huge fan of Jacksonville. And it's just funny to me. I don't know. So every single time that I think of that and I think of Jacksonville, I'm like, oh my gosh. So I just keep going back to The Good Place and how much apparently Jacksonville stuck in The Good Place.
Yep. There you go.
It was
maybe another reason to pick them. Who knows?
It's great. It's funny. It's all in good fun. Jacksonville really isn't that bad. It's all in good fun.
Well, they're 1-8, so they're not real good.
They're not real good, but they're not horrible.
Next game comes, pretty good game, but it's Tennessee at Baltimore. Tennessee started out 5-0, really strong. And remember, they were in our game of the week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They lost at Pittsburgh, and they've kind of hit the skids ever since.
They've been going very much downhill.
Baltimore is another team that's a little bit, though, inconsistent. They're 6-3 too. They're coming off a loss at New England, which was an upset. They were 6.5-point favorites going in. Mm-hmm. So really, this game, I don't really know who to pick. Neither team is playing great right now.
No.
I'm going to go Baltimore at home just because I think Baltimore is a better team than Tennessee. But if you're waiting for the Ravens and Lamar Jackson to flip the switch to last year, I don't think that's going to happen right now.
Yeah.
I don't. They're not the same team they was last year, but Tennessee has hit the skids as well since they lost their first game to Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go Baltimore. Baltimore is a 5.5-point favorite. I'm going to go Baltimore at home, but that's one of those games where you're really not going to be surprised at either outcome.
Yeah, because I think I'm going to go with Tennessee. I mean, I really do like Tennessee, and I think that they'll finally get their crap together eventually. It's just they've got to be having enough of just this losing streak right now that they're going through. I get having a rough patch, but come on. I mean, Pittsburgh's still undefeated. Get over it. Let's move on from it. Now pick up your game a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they just need to get their stuff together. But I think this is a good matchup. Both teams
It is, and it's not going to surprise me with either outcome. 5.5 is a lot of points.
Yeah.
If I had to take the points, I'd probably take Tennessee because I don't think it's going to be a 5.5 point spread either way. I really don't. Because neither team is really wowing me right now. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Next, your Houston Texans hosting New England. I actually think if this game was played last week, I think Houston's a favorite at home. Mm-hmm. But since New England got it together and won at home against Baltimore last Sunday night, I think that's kind of made people think the Patriots might be figuring some things out. Mm-hmm. The Patriots are a 2-point favorite. But you talk about a team that's inconsistent.
Yeah.
I'm going Houston at home with Deshaun Watson.
I was going to go with Houston.
I don't have faith in New England right now. I think it's another game where you look at New England and think, yeah, they're not back yet. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think New England is officially back. Like, yeah, they had a great win against Baltimore, but I still think that there's very much inconsistencies with that. And not saying that Houston doesn't have their inconsistencies, because obviously they're very interesting right now. But still, I think that I'm still very much a Houston Texans fan. And so is my grandmother, and I think she'd curse my name if I ever went against her right at this moment.
You don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that right now.
From what you've told me about her, you don't want to do that.
I don't, and especially not right now.
Not that I would have said that was a good idea anyway, but today especially, I don't think you would want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that at all this entire next week.
I don't.
Do not upset my grandmother right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably a really would be a really bad idea.
I love my grandma, but yeah, no, you never want to upset my gammy.
Yeah, that'd be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Miami at Denver. Miami rolling, coming in 6-3 behind Tua Tagovailoa. No, Miami is coming off some big wins. They won at Arizona. Mm-hmm. They won again last week. They're 6-3. Denver 3-6. Miami is favored by 3.5 on the road. Drew Lock continues to have problems with turnovers for the Broncos. So Miami just seems to really be playing well under head coach Brian Flores. I got to go with Miami. I just think Miami is playing too well right now to slip up in Denver.
Honestly, same. I mean, Denver's just been super inconsistent. I mean, I haven't lost faith in the Broncos by any means, but I mean, at this point right now, I mean, Miami's actually doing fairly well. And
Denver's not trending in the right direction right now.
No.
They're not playing well.
Mm-mm.
The next game is another game that surprised me with the spread. Not by who's favored, but the spread. The Jets are winless. I get it. They're 0-9. The Chargers are 2-7 though. The Chargers have had. I mean, the Chargers, every game they play is close. They've had multiple losses at the final seconds, including last week's loss. They literally scored what they thought was a game-winning touchdown. Actually, they're coming off a 29-21 loss to Miami last week. Mm-hmm. A tough loss, 8-point loss. The week before that, they thought they had a game-winning touchdown against the Raiders, who are 6-3 right now. They overturned it on review. It was the last play of the game. Herbert throws a game-winning touchdown pass. He thought. And after further review, they overturn it, and the Raiders win 31-26. Yeah. That's the kind of luck the Chargers have had this year. They've lost multiple games close, multiple one-possession games like last week, multiple games the final possession. Every game is close. I'm not picking the Jets to win. I don't think they get their first win. I think the Chargers are better. They're playing a lot better.
Too.
But 9.5 is a lot of points, though. So we're not doing the spread, though. We're only doing who wins. I think the Chargers win. Finally, they get a win. But I think it's closer than what 9.5 points shows.
Same. Because I don't think that the Jets are that bad to where it's that huge.
Well, the Chargers play everybody close. So
that's true.
Yeah, 9.5 is a lot of points to give.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers no matter what. Just they might be inconsistent, but I mean, what do the Jets have at this moment in time? Didn't they just trade their best player or something?
Well, yes, they did. They traded safety Jamal Adams.
That was it.
Yeah, coming into the year to trade to Seattle. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the Jets are in a tough spot. They're probably going to have a new head coach next year. most likely have a new quarterback.
They just need to get their stuff together.
So they're going to have
right
a brand
now.
new. They're going to have a lot of change coming next year, and it's due for it. It's not.
Yeah, and I mean maybe next year is going to be the Jets' year, but I mean this year I don't think that's what's happening.
Yeah, they're probably going to have a new coach next year.
Yeah.
New quarterback most likely in the draft. So could be Trevor Lawrence of Clemson. That's what the rumor is. So if they're first overall, it most likely will be. So, and right now they would be. All right, next game was a really good one. Green Bay at Indianapolis. That was one of our nominees that we talked about for our game of the week before we settled on the Rams and Tampa Bay. But Green Bay, Indianapolis, this is another one of those games. The Colts are favored by 1.5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
They say home field is worth 3 points just by itself, so you take that and you go backwards. So that tells me on a neutral field the Packers will be about 1.5 favorite. The Colts are playing the really sound football.
That's true.
They won at Tennessee last week 34-17 on the road. The Colts run the ball. Phillip Rivers is efficient. Their defense is as good as it gets in the league. Linebacker Darius Leonard is just really all over the place for the Colts. They are playing really well, but Green Bay, other than a couple hiccups, one of them was at Tampa Bay where they just got absolutely run off the field, 38-10. But other than that, they have played really well. They're 7-2.
Yeah.
Oh, on the road, I've got to. No. I'll tell you this. I think Green Bay is a better team than Indianapolis. So then that tells me how much do you value home field?
Yeah.
Is it worth that much at this time? I don't know that it is. Gosh, what do you think? I'm on the fence. This is about 2 or 3 games this week. 2 or 3, and one of them's going to be our game of the week. But 2 or 3 games this week that I'm kind of on the fence on.
I honestly think I'm going to go with Indianapolis. I really do. I think I'm going to go with the Colts because, like you said, they're a very sound team. They're a very established team. Not that Green Bay isn't. Sorry, I have the hiccups right now. But I don't know. I feel like they have their stuff together, and if they can hold their ground, especially on their home field, which everybody usually tries to play better with the home field advantage. So, from my basic knowledge and how I know that I would feel with someone coming into my home court and it being a really close or a really even matchup, I think I'm going to go with Indianapolis.
I mean, this is one of those games I'm on the fence on. I think Green Bay's a better team. It depends on how well the Colts defense are the type of defense that will give Aaron Rodgers problems, especially if they can get pressure on him. Tampa Bay got a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and it kind of unraveled. Green Bay actually took a lead in that game early, and Tampa Bay just rolled them from that point, 38-10. If Aaron Rodgers has time to sit in the pocket and throw, I think he's able to have success, especially with Devontae Adams, one of the top receivers in the league. On this one, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go Indianapolis, too. Indianapolis, I do think their defense is going to give the Packers problems. I do. I think it's a type of defense similar to Tampa Bay's that gave them a lot of trouble.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just feel like if they can figure out the same thing and literally just keep constantly putting pressure on Aaron Rodgers, I think that it's going to be – I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means possible.
No, I expect it to be a good game. It was one of our 3 games we talked about us for our game of the week. But it's going to be a good one, I think. And again, if Aaron Rodgers has time to throw, I think he has success. I think the Packers can win. But against Tampa
he's
Bay,
a great passer. He's a great thrower.
Tampa Bay's defense gave Rodgers a lot of problems. I think Indianapolis' defense finds a way to get to him, kind of get things off rhythm a little bit, off balance. And I think the Colts, with that, will win a game somewhere in the neighborhood of 24-21, something in that nature. Yeah.
Just do some pressure defense. That's usually every team, though. If you can pressure the quarterback, you're usually good.
But not every team has the personnel to do it.
That's true.
I think that's what.
That's very true.
That's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference. I think the Colts do. All right, the game for me, Dallas at Minnesota. I'm a little more optimistic than Dallas than I have been in about 2 or 3 weeks. I'll say this, and I know I picked the Cowboys a lot this year. They've won a couple games, but the other games I didn't feel as confident in. But we didn't get to do our podcast 2 weeks ago. But if I did do it, I was going to pick against Dallas. I was going to pick Pittsburgh that day, just so you know.
Really?
I was, and that Dallas actually almost won that game.
That was a very close game.
And if we had picked, and I'd picked Pittsburgh and Dallas and won, I would have probably felt bad.
Yeah.
They really are getting their defense really is getting it together.
Yeah.
They're playing much better. Andy Dalton back with the weapons. The Cowboys' offense should move the ball much better. So the Vikings are playing well too. So it's a big game for both teams. Dallas is, again, believe it or not, they're only a game and a half out of the East. And I think the Eagles, we both picked them to lose this week. So if the Eagles were to lose and the Cowboys were to win, they're within half a game of first place in the East, which means you host a playoff game if you win the division, regardless of record. So it's a big game for Dallas, actually, believe it or not. I know some people's thinking they need to just tank and get a high draft pick. I'm just not. I just can't wrap my head around that. I don't like that strategy. I like to win as many games as you can, especially if you can actually get in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, not as much hard overhead as it has been in the past. Not as much. Not near as much. But a little bit hard overhead. I'm going to pick Dallas to get it done in Minnesota.
Okay.
I think they're much better than what they were 3 weeks ago.
And I would agree with that, but I think I'm going to go with Minnesota. Minnesota has been just doing rather well throughout the whole entire season. They've been kind of off and on, but you know what? I think that they have some really good defense, and Andy Dalton's just now coming back, and I feel like he's going to do great, but at the same time, I'm a little nervous just because, dang it, I have the hiccups still. Oh, they won't go away. But I don't know. I just feel like Andy Dalton will get the job done, but he is just coming back, from concussion protocol, which sometimes is scary.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I've had a few concussions in my lifetime, and it's been kind of scary to get back out on the court. It's amazing to get back out on the court, but it can be sometimes scary because you're like, I don't know. And especially for football, whew.
Yeah, he had that, and he also had COVID as well while he was out. So he was put on the COVID-19 restrictive list. He said he had some symptoms. He's doing obviously better, fine now to play. But, yeah, you're right. He's first game back in a few weeks, getting back on the field. Minnesota's playing really well.
Yeah.
Which is why I say it's kind of hard overhead for me a little bit, not as much as it has been before. But because Minnesota's won 3 straight. They've won at Green Bay. They've won at Chicago last week. They beat the Lions by 14 the week before. Mm-hmm. They were 1-5. They started out 1-5.
Yeah.
And then they now won 3 straight. But Minnesota at home, they're a 7-point favorite. That's probably about right in line with what it should be. But I just think this Dallas offense is really, really good if they can get good quarterback play. They did last week. Not last week, they had a bye, but the week before against Pittsburgh. Garrett Gilbert played really well. They led Pittsburgh most of the way and only lost 24-19. Had a throw from the 20-yard line to win it. So I think if their defense continues to progress, Andy Dalton is effective, I think they got a chance to win. We'll see if that happens. That's probably a game probably needs to be split, though. Mm-hmm. I think Minnesota's certainly favored. But Cowboys, they got a shot. We'll see. This, to me, is their final stand, though, as far as being a competitive team. If they're going to have any kind of hope of postseason, even in the East, any type of postseason hope, to me, they need to win this game to kind of get back on track because they've lost 4 straight, and I don't think they can. With Andy Dalton back, I think this is their chance to really show that they can be. I don't want to say postseason team because they're 2-7. Doesn't sound right, but in the East they could be. I mean, that's just the reality of it. So if they're going to ever get back on track, this week needs to be the week to do it.
Yes.
We'll see if it happens. All right, another good game. Chiefs and Raiders, we thought about that being our game of the week. In fact, we almost decided on that one as our game of the week to start with until we found out the Raiders had placed 8 defensive players on the COVID-19 restricted list. We thought, okay, it's a tough road against Kansas City anyway. But with that happening, Kansas City is an 8-point favorite. The intrigue for me, though, the Chiefs come in 8-1, the Raiders 6-3. Big AFC West battle. The Raiders handed the Chiefs their only loss to start the year in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Only loss of the year was to the Raiders in Kansas City. If the Raiders were to win this game, they would only be a game out of the AFC West lead and have the tiebreaker over Kansas City because they would have swept the season series. Mm-hmm. So the Raiders, a lot's riding on this. I'm going Kansas City, though. I mean, I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to stop them. But if the Raiders were to pull the upset, it's the AFC West, believe it or not, is really up for grabs. If the Chiefs win this, it'd be a 3-game cushion and pretty well put a lock on it. But
I just feel like with 8 defensive players out,
that's
hard. That's
and we'll
tough.
see if they're back. I mean, sometimes with the NFL's guidelines, they can come back and play.
Yeah.
We saw it with Ben Roethlisberger a week ago.
Yeah.
He was on the restricted list and actually got cleared to play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough sledding anyway, and we know a lot of them's not practicing. So we'll see how many's cleared to play. There may not be any cleared to play. It may all of them be cleared to play as far as we know. But it's tough anyway playing against Kansas City.
That's still a toss-up in the air. And Kansas City, I think, will come back and get it done. I don't think they're going to want to lose to these people, this team again,
Yeah, so I'm going Kansas City.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting to watch. If the Raiders were to pull the upset,
Oh yeah.
We're kind of, a lot of people's booking the Chiefs as a Super Bowl favorite, and they're still certainly a playoff team. But the Raiders actually be in contention to win the division.
Yeah.
But if the Chiefs win, it pretty well puts a cap on it. So, all right, now to our Talking with Friends game of the week. Monday Night Football, Rams at Tampa Bay. No. Tampa Bay, a 4-point favorite. We put it on our poll yesterday, who's going to win. Tampa Bay got both of the votes.
Really?
A little bit closer on Instagram. It was 57% to 43% Tampa Bay. On Twitter, I believe it was 67-33.
Okay.
So my mom actually texted me yesterday who she should vote for. Because, and I told her, I said, I'm leaning toward the Rams. I said, but if you want to hear my final pick, tune in live Friday at 1 o'clock. And, she listens anyway. But, even my mom, we give it a little extra incentive to listen. So we've got to have a little bit of a teaser there. But
can't just give you everything.
No, right. And I said I'm leaning toward the Rams, and you can really break this down either way, and it's the way it should be. Tampa Bay has been, they have played to where I think they're the best team in the NFC.
Mhm.
I do. They've had games, especially against Green Bay. I watched the game win 38-10 there.
Yeah.
They look like when they are clicking on both sides of the ball, they could be the best team in the conference and go to the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
But then there's games like you saw, they barely squeaked by the Giants the next week on Monday Night Football. They got pounded by the Saints at home, 38-3. I mean, they've shown a lot of. They've been kind of, Jekyll and Hyde a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams in the NFC West are 6-3, and they seem to be kind of a team that's somehow flying under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
In the NFC West, you talk about Seattle, you talk about Russell Wilson and his MVP candidacy. Again, they won last night. You talk about the Arizona Cardinals, kind of the young upstart with Kyler Murray coming in, and you don't talk a lot about the Rams. They missed the playoffs last year. It was in the Super Bowl just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But you don't talk a lot about the Rams, and they still have a really good defense. They beat Seattle last week by 10. I just think I think we're sleeping on the Rams a little bit. And their defensive front with Aaron Donald is massively good. Their cornerback, Jalen Ramsey, pretty well shut down DK Metcalf, one of the toughest receiving matchups in the league. Jalen Ramsey.
I actually beat Melissa.
I seen that. We'll talk about that in a minute because I followed it. I'll talk to you about that in just a minute.
You followed mine?
I followed a little bit. Yeah, I texted you about it last week.
Yeah, you did.
So I'll tell you a little bit about how it unfolded.
I did have my first loss last week in my other league, and I was not happy about it.
So, again, but the Rams, they are – and then now offensively, still don't have Todd Gurley, but they still have Jared Goff at quarterback who's having a pretty steady season. Not a flashy season, but pretty steady. Weapons are still there. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. They're running back by committee. Malcolm Akers, or Cam Akers, Malcolm Brown. It seems to work. You still have Sean McVay calling the plays. They seem to be resembling a little bit closer to the Super Bowl team from 2 years ago. So – this is a hard one to pick because, again, the Tampa Bay team that I've watched multiple times beat Green Bay, look like the best team in the NFC. They could show up Monday night and win.
Yeah.
Very easily could. But the Rams, to me, are a little bit steadier all year long. They looked really good last week against Seattle, winning a big one there. I'm going to pick the Rams to win this one. And it's a little bit of a minor upset. I don't know if there's a big upset in this game, but it's a minor upset. But from what I've seen, the Rams are a little bit steadier. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
I honestly think I'm still going to go with Tampa Bay. Just because, like you said, they're still a little bit rocky at times because 1 minute they're going to be playing really hard and then another minute it gets way too close or they lose.
Well, if their best effort, their A effort is as good as anybody's is. There's A effort. It really is.
Yeah, so I still think I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. But either route you go, I think it's just overall going to be good, It
should be a good game.
Yeah,
it should be a good game. Hopefully it's a good game. But Tampa Bay's A effort, when they were playing their best, they can be in the Super Bowl. They can be in the Super Bowl when they're playing their best. Well, I've seen it, and I think when we first picked this, I was going to pick Tampa Bay, but the more I the more I think about the Rams and how steady they've looked, I just think their defense gives Brady a lot of problems up front, much in the way the Saints did with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey at cornerback. I think the Rams moved the ball offensively, and I think it's kind of I don't think it's going to be a real high-scoring game, but I think it's probably going to be in the mold of 27, 24, 24, 21, something in the 20s, I think, would probably be likely on that. But
I just got a good tight end.
I'll go with the Rams on that. Are you really doing that?
I did.
You know what? I did it.
I wanted to because I'm like, you know what?
You're doing that in your other league, though, right?
Yes, this is my other league.
In our league, I got him.
You did?
We are faking alike. We are faking alike on this. You really went Taysom Hill, your tight end.
Yes, I did. Well, my other...
He's starting quarterback, though. So the question is, though, here's the question. Here's what you want to keep an eye on, though. Here's some fantasy football tips for everybody. Right now in our league, Taysom Hill, and you're both our leagues ESPN. That's both of my leagues are, too. So, ESPN Fantasy Football League, Taysom Hill is listed as a tight end and a quarterback.
Yes.
So you can play him either or. If you play him at tight end, and this is a question people ask today, I've not got clarification on this, so keep an eye on how they list him.
I will.
If you play him at tight end, do you get all of his passing stats at tight end? So he's not your quarterback going, and at tight end, look at the numbers he'd put up at tight end if he's your starting tight end. Look at look at those numbers he'd put up.
Yeah.
He could put up quarterback-like numbers like your tight end. You got to start him at
I know. That's why I'm like, man, okay, yeah, he's man.
Follow it, though. Follow the listing.
I will still continue to follow, but at the same time,
I got him in our league. So
I'm like, hey, you know what? You can't go wrong because I mean, I think either way he's going to get points for me. So
yeah, but you want to make sure he won't be able to start at tight end though if he's listed as just a quarterback.
I know.
And at quarterback, I don't know if he's going to put up the big numbers. You got Justin Herbert, looks like. See, I got Justin Herbert in our league. He's big time quarterback.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to start Taysom Hill at quarterback, but you might. But be risky. But at tight end, if you can start him at quarterback at tight end, think of the numbers he could put up in that spot for you. I'm keeping an eye on that. Keep an eye if he still lists his tight end on Sunday. No.
I'm still going to keep an eye out for it because my other one is Dallas Goedert. And he's not horrible. I mean, he's projected 6.3, which I know you can't always go off projections, but
yeah.
he's still a fairly decent one.
Yep.
And
Dallas Goedert, I've got him in one. I think I got him in my other league. Yes, I got him in my NAI SID league. That's what I got him as.
And I'm sorry, but a lot of tight ends, it's been tough in my other league because not a lot of people are following with it on my volleyball league, and so it's hard whenever people don't drop or add or trade or anything like that. Or if they want to trade with you, they're trading you crappy players. So I'm like, I don't want those people. I'm not that dumb. Come on. But I don't know right now.
So, so keep an eye on that. That's a very snazzy move. I've done that in our league. I got it this morning when I said, because it's worth a flyer because I had a guy I could drop anyway. So it wasn't like I'm risking a lot.
Yeah.
And my tight end in our league is pretty much an empty spot, seems like. It's a weak spot. So I thought, hey, it can't hurt to get him and see if we can actually
pretty
do
much.
That.
That's honestly what...
It'd be our like, though, we start him in our league, and then they come back after the game, actually, Taysom Hill's not a tight end. He's not going to get those points. So.
Yeah.
So but check the designation as the weekend progresses. Check the designation and see...
Oh, man, I'm playing against Scott's team this time, so I got to figure out how I'm going to beat Scott's team. How I'm going to do that, I don't know right now. Anyways, I'll come back to this anyways.
I got a big game in our league, too. I'm 5-5 in both of my leagues. I think I'm a game out of the playoffs in both. So, I need to win. Actually, it was Peyton that beat me this last week.
Really?
In our league. Yeah, he beat me for the second time this year. I'm 5-5. I'm 0-2. Against Peyton, 5-3 against everybody else. And, his defense scored just enough Monday night to beat me. So I come back and looked like I was going to win. I come all the way back. I was down big early.
Yeah.
You won.
I
noticed because you texted me something that made me think about fantasy football. So,
I think I did a last-minute change.
And I texted you because you had a guy that was out.
Yes.
Was not playing. David Montgomery, he was out. So I looked at it, and
it was pure accident. I
texted you in time, but by the time you got my text, it was too late to change it.
Yeah.
But then I also said, well, luckily for you, Melissa also has a player that's out. She was on a bye.
Yeah.
That she didn't take out. So you had Adam Thielen going that night, and she had I forget who she had going, but Adam Thielen outscored him by enough to where you won, I think, by 7 points or something. So you come back.
It was very close.
You were projected to lose going into that night.
Oh yeah.
You were projected to lose, and you come back and won.
You know what? It's always best
Allen
when you come
Robinson.
from behind.
It was receivers. You had Adam Thielen, and she had Allen Robinson the third,
Yeah.
I believe. She had Allen Robinson, and she come back, and you wound up winning.
Yeah, I did.
So I said, lucky for you, she also has someone else, so maybe it'll work out for you. So, so you figured out a way to win it.
I did. I figured it out. But how I did it, I don't know. Don't ask, because I really have no idea.
Well, I'm playing Matthew this week, so for me, it's just an ongoing season-long rivalry with it. In our
I'm
house.
playing Scott this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
ESPN just knew what they were doing. They grouped all of us Converse boys in the same division with Melissa. All of us, me and Matthew, Luke, and Peyton, is all four in the same division.
Nice.
So yeah, how much fun has that been? ESPN knew what they were doing. They put all of us in the same division.
Man, I need a new wide receiver. You want to trade me a wide receiver?
We'll look at it and see. I'm always open for business. I told Matthew, he tried to trade me last night. He was going to trade me Russell Wilson for Mike Davis and somebody else. And the thing is, I have to have Mike Davis. I have to have Mike Davis this week because McCaffrey's out, so he's going to play this week. Mm-hmm. And he's going to start. I don't have another running back to put in. And the thing is, I don't really need a quarterback, but because Justin Herbert's playing so well at quarterback. But I said, hey, I'm always open for business, so I'll tell you the same thing I told him and everybody else. If you propose me a trade, I'll look at it. No.
I mean, I just got
I'll take
Jacoby Myers as my wide receiver because one of my other wide receivers, he has really not been playing at all anyway. So I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to. So I just got rid of him, and yeah, we're having some fun. Now I gotta look at my defenses really quick.
Yeah. I always pick up the phone when somebody wants to trade.
I know.
I don't always accept it. I rejected Luke's trade this morning, actually.
Really?
He tried to trade. He wanted Kamara and Travis Fulgham, and I believe it was Brandon Ayuk for the 49ers, and a couple other guys. Juju Smith-Schuster was one of them. And I rejected because I really can't trade Kamara. No.
Yeah.
Can't trade Kamara. So, no.
Oh, man. Fun times. But anyways, anything else you want to talk about?
What else? You got anything else?
No, I really don't.
All right. Well, we always talk about random stuff, but as you found out, we'll always have something random throughout the show. So it's not limited to that one segment.
It's
always it's not limited to that one segment. We always have it. So we always do it.
Yep. So always keep looking out for our random.
Yep. All right. You want to take over your devotion now? No.
I shall take over
devotion
now.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's talk about some Jesus right here, right now. So this is our weekly devotional. Like always, I get all of my devotionals from Big Life Podcast. Absolutely amazing podcast. If you ever get a chance to listen to it, I would recommend that you go listen to it. And this week's title, I didn't really like the title of today's thing, so I'm just not going to really give the title because to me it almost sends a mixed message. It's like, which one are you? But you'll understand here in a little bit why that was a little bit confusing. Ish. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But anyways, so which one are you is today's title or theme for our devotion. So I want you guys to picture walking into an art gallery. Are you that kind of person that likes to walk into an art gallery and look at all the paintings and art that is for sale and probably costs way more than your car note or even your house note, So me personally, I don't, but there are people out there like that. And I don't remember the guy that she was talking about or gave the example with, but he'd walked into an art gallery and he just was walking around and he saw this painting. It was called the, I want to say Master Puppeteer, and it was an oil painting of an old guy sitting around with his family and controlling a puppet, or a marionette, and that was the painting. It turns out this was an artist, an 80-year-old European artist who was going blind. This was his original piece that he had bought. He saved up for like almost a whole entire year, if not over a year, and
he ended up purchasing this painting, The Master Puppeteer, because it was just so beautiful, so original, and the thought of it being created by a blind man, or a man that was going blind, was absolutely fascinating to him. So when he went to go pick it up, and it was an original, so like he was thinking this is the only one of its kind, because I mean, how can he make another one of these, right? Well, when he got to the place to go and get the painting, there were 2 paintings sitting there for him, exactly the same painting. And he was like, how is this possible? I bought the original one. Why is there another one? I thought this was a one-of-a-kind only thing. Well, the art gallery had explained to him that, whenever you buy an original one, we also give you a copy of it so that you can display the copy and keep the original one locked away in a safe for safekeeping, and to make sure that it never gets damaged, touched, or anything. But the copy, it's okay, because that's not the original, right? But why on earth do we want to do that? We spend so much money for this piece of art and just masterpiece, and we lock it away. Why are we locking it away? If I spend that much money on something, I'm sorry, but I'm going to display it because it's amazing to me, and it spoke to me, and it was something that I enjoy, and I want to see the original one, and I want to tell people, no, this is the original one, not a copy of the original one that I have to keep away somewhere else. Well, we can actually devote that into our own lives. Have you ever done that with yourself? Have you ever thought, no, I'm going to put up a front today and keep my real self inside? We hide our original selves, our original self, the real self of us. And we display this fake version of ourselves to protect the real us. No one wants to get hurt. No one wants there to be damage. No one wants all of these negative things to happen if they express their true selves. So they put up a front. And they hide it. But in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10, it says, you are God's masterpiece. You are a work of art that God has created. The real and original version of ourselves is who God created us to be. He makes all things beautiful. That's actually another verse as well, but I forgot to write down what verse. But anyways, he makes all things beautiful.
Right,
and we should display that. We need to display our true selves to the world. Because you are a masterpiece. I understand that it is hard. Because we want to put up this fake version. We want to put up the more popular version. We want to put up the version that society wants to help protect us from those outside of us. We want to protect ourselves not only from us, but from those around us that can hurt us and harm us, whether it's a friend, family member, whatever. You have to stay true to you. I get it. It is hard. Trust me, I've done it multiple times in my life, and I know so many people do that in their lives, if not already do that in their lives. But I'm telling you, you are a masterpiece. Do not hide behind fake characteristics. And don't tuck away God's masterpiece. Showcase it to the world. Because, in all honesty, if we can showcase the original you, we can be unstoppable, guys. You showing us the real you, the true you,
You can be unstoppable because no one is going to put you down. No one is going to make you feel hurt because you do not have this front. You are proud of who you are because God made you that way. You are so loved and beautifully made by the greatest artist ever. So showcase your real self and showcase the masterpiece that you are. Because God is a wonderful master painter or artist. And He created you and made you so beautifully made. And He made you for a purpose and for a reason. And you have to showcase that. You must feel it inside. Don't hide away how you really feel inside. Don't hide away the real self. Don't hide away because somebody says, oh, that's weird, or that's not okay, or no, we don't want you around because you're not like us. That's okay. Because in all honesty, you don't want to be like them. No one is the same, and that's okay. Be yourself. Be true to you, and be true to God. Because God has just wonderfully made you. You are so wonderfully and beautifully made. And you can't be made by any other artist like God. You cannot be portrayed by any other artist that God can do. He does amazing and just wonderful things. So you truly are made by the greatest artist you could ever know. And we need to showcase that. We need to be okay with our real self. We need to understand that God made us this way. And it is beautiful and it is great. So showcase the masterful self and the masterpiece you are, because you truly are a masterpiece. And never, ever forget that, guys. You really are. And that's kind of...
Very good.
That's it.
A couple things, yeah. The verse you're talking about is Psalms 139:14. For I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, there's a time in my life too, and I think we're all this way, even still yet to this day, for me and you, and I think we're all this way. Sometimes we feel a little bit inferior with how we are, whether it's our physical, mental, emotional, whatever characteristics we have. We sometimes feel a little bit like we're just not quite right. But then you read that verse one time. My life has done the same thing.
Yep.
You think of that verse, it come to me, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. So you're there. There's a reason why you are who you are.
Yeah.
So you don't have to apologize or anything. You don't have to feel bad or ashamed. This is who you are for a reason, so don't feel bad about it. This is exactly who you are. And another thing, too, that kind of comes to my mind when you're talking about that is, you know, the old saying, you know, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, does it make a sound? Yeah. And I think that's one of those things to where, when you really think about it, of course it makes a sound.
Yeah.
There's just no one here to feel. There's just no one there to feel the impact of it or to hear it. It's kind of that way when someone hides who they really are, as you were saying. If we keep who we really are in Christ bottled up and we don't show it, is it really there?
Yeah.
Well, of course it's there. But yet it's not making an impact, so it might as well not be there.
Yeah.
It has no impact. It has no value whatsoever.
Exactly.
If we keep it bottled in. So, I mean, it's still there, but yet it might as well not be there because no one's feeling it. You know, no one's any better off for it. No one knows it's there. No one knows who you really are, so it's not doing anything. That's not what we're called to do. It's not what we're supposed to do. So
don't lock away your true feelings. That's always my kind of thing that I like to live by, and that's why I usually I have the moment where I express how I feel about somebody, truthfully and honestly, and my face says 1,000 words. So if I don't actually speak it, my face says 1,000 words. But that's just who I am. That's how I am. And in all honesty, I'm very much a weirdo. Mr. Lee, if I can testify to that.
Once in a while we all are. You are, yes, that's true. Once in a while, but I think we all are. That's good. That's the good part, yeah.
I'm like the oddball in my family, but in a good way. In a good way. I'm very sane, don't worry, but I am very much an oddball in my family. I'm very, very, very weird. I'm the only Star Wars nerd in my family. We're all huge Disney nerds, you know? I'm very much in tune with Christ and Jesus. I mean, not that my family isn't, because we grew up in a church. But I feel like my journey here at Friends has increased that more than what my family has the opportunity to increase that with, if that makes any sense. Not saying that I'm better than my family by any means, because I'm not. I'm still nowhere near in tune with where I need to be.
You've grown from your faith since you've been here. I can see that since you've been with me. Yeah.
And it makes me proud of who I am, and it makes me want to express that even more, which is why I'm so glad that we are getting to do devotionals and different things like that, even on here, because you need to express your true self, and this is a part of who I am. It's a part of who you are, and I'm sure it's a part of a lot of our listeners as well. Like people enjoy listening to just anything that has God and just getting his word out there, and just the little things in life, even if it's not full-on scripture all the time. Getting his name out there and getting his praise out there, that's all that we can do. And I mean, that's part of my life, and so I like to express that. But you shouldn't be scared to hide it away. No one should be scared to hide their weirdness. No one should be scared to not be emotional. It's okay to be emotional, guys. It's not something that we should fear and that we're going to feel less than if we do show our emotions, because that's not true.
Yeah.
It's definitely not true. Even guys, show your emotions. It's okay. Like, we're not going to judge you for it, you know? I mean, I understand a lot of guys still don't like to, but like, it's okay to show emotion. It's okay to show that you are struggling with something. It does not make you inferior. It does not make you feel less than. It should not make you feel less than. It should not make you feel worthless, because you're not worthless. You mean so much to so many people. Even if you haven't even met these people yet, you mean so much to people. And showcase the beauty that is inside you. Showcase that and show that and express that to the world, because somebody else probably needs to hear that exact same thing that you are wanting to say.
That's right. And that may be waiting on someone like us to say it. So, very good. Very good.
You.
Very good, Morgan. Very good devotion.
Thank you.
One of my favorites. So, but I say that every week. So
you say that every week.
Yeah. So just get used to it. Get used to it. All right. Today's show was good. It was fun.
This was good.
Thanksgiving coming around the corner. Hope everybody has a very happy Thanksgiving.
Safe travels, everybody.
Yes.
Be sure to be safe.
Yep. And if everyone's been following along, we've been praying for a baby boy named Bennett. The news keeps getting better with him.
Yes, he was playing basketball the other day.
Playing basketball, hooping it up.
Yeah.
He continues to progress, so continue praying for him. But God's definitely given him a healing touch, and it's just going to continue on, I believe, and he's going to have a really good testimony throughout his life. So it's going to been through a lot at a young age, but it's going to pay off big down the road, I believe, for God's kingdom. I do believe that. So I appreciate the prayers for him. It's your turn to pray, Morgan. Anything else you're going to pray about? Or
I mainly want to pray not only just for Bennett and his health, but for everybody in their health as well. Just safe travels. We're probably going to pray for that again next week, especially since next week will be Thanksgiving. But definitely still, especially for those that are leaving earlier for Thanksgiving, a lot of college students are leaving earlier. Hoping and praying they get through finals. We'll just go through it all really quick. So there we go.
All right.
Ready?
Well, I'm ready. Go ahead.
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for this absolute wonderful day, this absolute wonderful podcast, and just mine and Mr. Levi's really good friendship as well. I greatly appreciate that every single day of my life. And please continue to bless each and every single one of us in our day-to-day lives. We greatly appreciate you in that, and we give thanks to you, especially as Thanksgiving's coming around, and all the blessings that you give to each and every single one of us. I pray for health for those that are suffering right at this moment, and for those that are not even suffering right now, but could be suffering soon, and we don't know that, and you're the only one that does know that. But I pray for good health for everyone right now, and please keep your hands on Bennett and his family, and please continue to heal them and make sure that they are staying strong, and that he continues to grow stronger and stronger in his faith, stronger in physical, mental, whole 9 yards. Just continue to please bless that little baby boy as much as you possibly can, and to help heal him. I also pray for all those that are taking finals really soon, and that everybody just has safe travels as they're traveling home or away for Thanksgiving, and that we can just all come together and give you thanks and just continue to thank you for blessings, and that you continue to give us blessings every single day. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. So thanks everybody for listening. Again, we're in the works talk about a podcast next week, a special Thanksgiving one. We'll keep you informed of the details once we get that finalized. But anyway, hope you have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.